director of Hamlet. Isn't it really going to be a beautiful night? A friend of mine just called me and told me that the radar says all the weather's moved on. This is just a few clouds. Yay! You know, the park is such a beautiful place. It's a perfect marriage for Shakespeare. I think it's because during the Elizabethan time, they didn't have the technology that drives us crazy. Traffic, computers, and cell phones. I need you to turn off your cell phones if you have them with you, please. How many of you are here for the first time? Raise a hand, please. Wonderful. Lovely to have you. How many of you are here from out of town? Wonderful. Out of state. Yay! We want to welcome you. Thank you for coming. Got a little business I need to tell you first. The show runs about 2 hours and 45 minutes. It's got a 15-minute intermission. The bathrooms are going to be located right over the hill by the baseball field. If you didn't get a playbill, there's plenty of playbills right up here in the tech booth. Man does not live by bread alone, neither does a theater company. Therefore, during intermission, we will have our actors walking amongst you with their hat in hand. We would appreciate it if you gave generously. We have decided, because of the wonderful response to our show, to hold it over for an extra weekend. So next weekend will not be the final weekend. We will be doing 2 more shows after that on August 18th and 19th. So tell all of your friends. Tonight we've got a couple substitutions. We had a sick actor at the last minute. So Katie Maloney will be our gentleman, and John Russell will be playing our priest. To be or not to be? Sweets to the sweets. Oh, wicked speed, to post with such dexterity to incestuous sheets. When was the last time you went to a play and you already knew a whole bunch of the lines that you were going to say? That's his Hamlet. It's an icon. It's the greatest play ever written. It can be daunting. Think about all of the people that have played Hamlet. Olivier, Kenneth Branagh, Sarah Bernhardt. Let's see. My favorite, Bugs Bunny. We have had the great pleasure of living with this glorious piece of literature for this summer. And I want to say a couple of thanks. First of all, I want to thank Green Life Grocery for being our corporate sponsor. Without them, we couldn't have done it. Thank you so much. I'd also like to thank Asheville Parks and Recreation. They do a magnificent job of supporting us, of maintaining the facility. Thank you for everything that you do. And then on a personal note, I want to thank the cast and crew. They are amazing people. They have come from their busy 8-hour, sometimes 9- and 10-hour-a-day jobs and lives. They've come and had another life that they've led for the past summer, getting ready to create this Elsinore that you're about to see. They're amazing people, and I'm so grateful to have had this opportunity to work with them. And now, I want you to sit back and I want you to enjoy Hamlet.
Who's there? May answer me. Stand and unfold yourself. Long live the king.
Bernardo?
He?
You come most carefully upon your hour.
'Tis now struck 12. Get thee to bed, Francisco.
For this relief, much thanks. 'Tis bitter cold, and I am sick at heart.
Have you had quiet, guard?
Not a mouse stirring.
Well, good night. If you do see Horatio and Marcellus, the rivals of my watch, bid them make haste.
I think I hear them. Stand ho! Who's there?
Prince to this ground.
And liegeman to the day.
Give you good night.
Farewell, honest soldier. Who hath relieved you?
Bernardo has my place. Give you good night.
Hola, Bernardo.
Say, what is Horatio there?
A piece of him.
Welcome, Horatio. Welcome, good Marcellus.
Has the thing appeared again tonight?
I have seen nothing.
Horatio says 'tis but our fantasy, and will not let belief take hold of him, touching this dreaded sight twice seen of us. Therefore I have entreated him along with us to watch the minutes of this night. And should the apparition come again, he might approve our eyes and speak to it.
Tush, tush, 'twill not appear.
Sit down a while and let us again assail your ears that are so fortified against our story what we have 2 nights seen.
Well, sit we down, and let us hear Bernardo speak of this.
Last night of all, when yon star that's westward from the pole had made its course to illume that part in heaven, where in an
And he's
hour...
making off! Look, where it comes again!
In the same figure, like the king that's dead.
What a scholar! Speak to it, Horatio!
Looks it not like the king? Mark it, Horatio.
Most like. It harrows me with fear and wonder.
It would be spoke to.
Question it, Horatio!
What art thou that usurpest this time of night, together with that fair and warlike form in which the majesty of buried Denmark did sometimes march? By heaven, I charge thee, speak!
It is offended.
See, it stalks away.
Stay, speak! I charge thee, speak!
It's gone and will not answer.
How now, Horatio, you tremble and look pale. Is this not something more than fantasy? What think you on it?
For my God, I might not disbelieve without the sensible and true avouch of my own eyes.
Is it not like the king?
As thou art to thyself! Such was the very armor he had on when he the ambitious Norway combated. Oh, 'tis strange.
Thus twice before and jump at this dead hour, which Marshal Stock hath begun by our watch.
In what particular thought to work, I know not. But in the gross and scope of my opinion, this bodes some strange eruption to our state.
Good. Now sit down and tell me, he that knows, why this same strict and most observant watch so nightly toils the subject of the land, and why daily cast of brazen cannons and foreign mark for implements of war, and why such impressive shipwrights, whose sore task is not to divide the Sunday from the week. Who is that can inform me?
Marry, that can I, or so the whisper goes. Our last king, whose image even now appeared before us, was, as you know, by Fortinbras of Norway, thereto pricked on by a most emulate pride, dared to the combat, in which our valiant Hamlet did slay this Fortinbras, who, by a sealed compact well ratified by law and heraldry, did forfeit with his life all those lands which he stood seized of to the conqueror. Now, sirs, young Fortinbras, of unimproved metal, hot and full, hath in the skirts of Norway here and there sharked up a list of lawless residents for food and diet to some enterprise that hath a stomach in it, which is no other but soft. Lo, behold where it comes again! I'll cross it, though it blast me! Stay, illusion! If thou hast any sound or use of voice, speak to me. If there be any good thing be done that may do thee ease and grace to me, speak to me. If thou art privy to thy country's fate, whose foreknowing happily may avoid, oh, speak! Stay and speak! Stop it, Marcellus!
Shall I strike at it?
Do it if it will not stand!
'Tis here!
'Tis there!
'Tis gone! We do it wrong being so majestical to offer the show of violence, for it is as the air invulnerable, and our vain glows malicious mockery.
It was about to speak when the cock crew.
And then it started like a guilty thing upon a fearful summons.
Faded in the crowing of the cock.
Oh, but look, the morn in russet mantle clad walks o'er the dew of yon high eastward hill. Break we our watch up. By my advice, let us impart what we have seen tonight to young Hamlet. For upon my life, this spirit, dumb to us, will speak to him. Do you consent that we shall acquaint him with it, as fitting in our loves, needful of our duties?
Let's do it, I pray. And that is more know we shall find him most conveniently.
our dear brother's death, the memory be green, and that it us be fitted to bear our hearts in grief, and our whole kingdom to be contracted in one brow of woe. Yet, so far hath discretion fought with nature, that we with wisest sorrow think on him together with remembrance of ourselves. Therefore, our sometime sister, now our queen, the imperial jointress to this warlike state, have we, as 'twere with a defeated joy, with an auspicious and a dropping eye, with mirth in funeral, and with dirge in marriage, in equal scale weighing delight and dole, taken to wife. Nor have we herein barred your better wisdoms, which have freely gone with this affair along, for all our thanks. Now follows that you know young Fortinbras, holding a weak supposal of our worth, or thinking by our late dear brother's death, our state to be disjoint and out of frame, he hath not failed to pester us with message, importing the surrender of those lands, lost by his father with all bonds of law, to our most valiant brother. So much for him. We have herewith to Norway, uncle of young Fortinbras, who, impotent and bedrid, scarcely knows of this his nephew's purpose to suppress his further gait herein. You, good Cornelius, are bearer of this greeting to old Norway. Farewell, and let your haste commend your duty.
In this and all things we show our duty.
We doubt it nothing. Heartily farewell. Now, Laertes, what's the news with you? You told us of some suit. What wouldst thou have, Laertes?
My dread lord, your leave in favor to return to France, from whence though willingly I came to Denmark to show my duty in your coronation. Yet now I must confess that duty done. My thoughts and wishes been again toward France, and bow them to your gracious leave and pardon.
What says your father, Polonius?
He hath, my lord, run from me my slow leave by laborsome petition, and at last, upon his will, I sealed my hard consent. I do beseech you, lord, give him leave to go.
Take thy fair hour, Laertes, time be thine, and thy best graces spend it at thy will. But now, my cousin Hamlet and my son.
A little more than kin and less than kind.
How is it that the clouds still hang on you?
Not so, my lord. I am too much in the sun.
Good Hamlet, cast thy nighted colour off, and let thine eye look like a friend on Denmark. Do not forever with thy veiled lids seek for thy noble father in the dust. Thou knowest 'tis common, all that lives must die, passing through nature to eternity.
Aye, madam, it is common.
If it be, why seems it so particular with thee?
Seems, madam? Nay, it is. I know not seems. 'Tis not alone my inky cloak, good mother, nor the customary suits of solemn black, nor the windy suspiration of forced breath, no, nor the fruitful river in the eye, nor the dejected havior of the visage, together with all forms, mood, shapes of grief that can denote me. Truly, these indeed seem, but they are actions that a man might play, for I have that within which passeth show, these but the trappings and the suits of woe.
Sweet and commendable in your nature, Hamlet, to give these mourning duties to your father. But you must know your father lost a father, and that father lost his, and the survivor bound in filial obligation for some term to do obsequious sorrow. But to persever in obstinate condolement is a course of impious stubbornness. 'Tis unmanly grief. It shows a will most incorrect to heaven. Why should we in our peevish opposition take it to heart? Fie! 'Tis fault to nature, to reason most absurd, whose common theme is death of fathers. We pray you, throw to earth this unprevailing woe, and think of us as of a father. For let the world take note, you are the most immediate to our throne, with no less nobility of love than that which dearest father bears his son, do I impart towards you. As for your intent in going back to school in Wittenberg, it is most retrograde to our desires, and we beseech you, bend you to remain here, in the cheer and comfort of our eye, our chiefest courtier, our cousin, and our son.
Let not thy mother lose her prayers, Hamlet. I pray thee, stay with us. Go not to Wittenberg.
I shall in all my best obey you, madam.
Why, 'tis a loving and a fair reply. Be as ourself in Denmark. Madam, come, this gentle and unforced accord of Hamlet sits smiling to my heart, in grace whereof no jocund health that Denmark drinks today, but the great cannon to the clouds shall tell, and the kings rouse, the heavens all brew it again, bespeaking earthly thunder. Come, away!
Oh, that this too solid flesh would melt, thaw, resolve itself into a dew, or that the everlasting had not fixed his cannon against self-slaughter. Oh, God. God! How weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable seem to me all the uses of this world. Fie on it. Why, 'tis an unweeded garden that grows to seed. Things rank and gross in nature possess it merely. That it should come to this, but 2 months dead. Nay, not so much, not 2. So excellent a king that was to this, Hyperion to a satyr. So loving to my mother that he might not beteem the winds of heaven visit her face too roughly. Heaven and earth must I remember why she would hang on him, as if increase of appetite had grown by what it fed on, and yet within a month. Let me not think on it. Frailty, thy name is woman. A little month, or ere those shoes were old, with which she followed my poor father's body, like Niobe, all tears, why she, even she, oh God, a beast that once discourse of reason would have mourned longer, married with my uncle, my father's brother, no more like my father than I to Hercules, within a month. Ere yet the salt of most unrighteous tears had left the flushing in her galled eyes, she married. Most wicked speed, to post with such dexterity to incestuous sheets. It is not, nor it cannot come to good. Break my heart, I must hold my tongue.
Hail to your lordship.
I am glad to see you well, Horatio.
The same, my lord, and your poor servant ever.
My good friend, I'll change that name with you. But what make you from Wittenberg, Horatio? Marcellus.
A truant disposition, good my lord.
I would not hear your enemies say so. I know you are no truant. But what is your affair at Elsinore?
My lord, I came to see your father's funeral.
I pray thee, do not mock me, fellow student. I think it was to see my mother's wedding.
Indeed, my lord, it followed hard upon.
Thrift, Horatio. The funeral baked meats did coldly furnish forth the marriage tables. And I had met my dearest foe in heaven, or ever I had seen that day, Horatio. My father. Methinks I see my father.
Where, my lord?
In my mind's eye, Horatio.
I saw him once. He was a goodly king.
He was a man. Take him for all in all. I shall not look upon his like again.
My lord, I think I saw him yesternight.
Saw? Who?
My lord, the king, your father.
The king, my father.
Season your admiration for a while with attent ear till I may deliver upon the witness of these 2 gentlemen this marvel to you.
For God's love, let me hear.
2 nights together had these gentlemen, Marcellus and Bernardo, on their watch been thus encountered. A figure, like your father, armed at point exactly, cocked, épée, appears before them. This, to me, in dreadful secrecy in part they did, and I with them the third night kept the watch. Whereas they delivered, the apparition comes. I knew your father, these hands are not more like.
But where was this?
The Lord, upon the platform where we watched.
And did you not speak to it?
Oh, my lord, I did, but answer it made none. Yet once methought it lifted up its head and did motion itself to address, as if it would speak. And even then the morning cock crew loud, and at the sound it shrunk away in haste and vanished from our sight.
'Tis very strange.
As I do live, my honored lord, 'tis true, and we thought it writ down in our duties to let you know of it.
Indeed. Indeed, sirs. But this troubles me. Hold you the watch tonight.
We do, my lord.
Armed, say you.
Armed, my lord.
From top to toe.
My lord, from head to foot.
And saw you not his face?
Oh, yes, my lord, he wore his beaver up.
What looked he frowningly?
A countenance made more in sorrow than in anger.
Pale or red?
Nay, very pale.
And fixed his eyes upon you?
Most constantly.
I would I had been there.
It would have much amazed you.
Very like. Very like. Stayed it long?
While one with moderate haste might tell 100.
Longer! Longer!
Not when I saw it.
His beard was grizzled now.
It was, my lord, as I have seen in his life, a sable silvered.
I will watch tonight. Perchance we'll walk again. If it assumes my noble father's person, I'll speak to it, though hell itself should gape and bid me hold my peace. I pray you all, if you have hitherto concealed this sight, let it be tenable in your silence still. So fare you well. Upon the platform twixt 11 and 12, I'll visit you.
Our duty is to your lordship.
Farewell. My father's spirit in arms. All is not well. I doubt some foul play. Would the night were come. Till then, sit still, my soul. Foul deeds will rise, though all the earth overwhelm them to men's eyes.
My necessaries are embarked. Farewell. Sister, do not sleep, but let me hear from you.
Do you doubt that?
For Lord Hamlet, and the trifling of his favor holdeth a fashion and a toy in blood. A violet in the youth of primy nature, forward not permanent, sweet not lasting. The perfume and suppliance of a minute, no more.
No more, but so.
Think it no more. Perhaps he loves you now, and no soil nor cuddle doth besmirch the virtue of his will. But you must fear his greatness way. His will is not his own, for he himself is subject to his birth, and may not as unvalued persons do carve for himself. For on his choice depends the safety and health of this whole state. Then, if he says he loves you, fear it. Ophelia feared my dear sister, to keep you in the rear of your affection, out of the shot and danger of desire. Be wary then. Best safety lies in fear. Youth to itself rebels, though none else near.
I shall the effect of this good lesson keep, as watchman to my heart. But do not, good my brother, as some ungracious pastors do, show me the steep and thorny way to heaven, whilst like a puff and reckless libertine, himself the primrose path of dalliance treads, and recks not his own reed.
Oh, fear me not. I stay too long. But here my father comes.
Get here, Laertes. Aboard, aboard, for shame. The wind sits in the shoulder of your sail, and you are stayed for. There, my blessings with thee. And these few precepts in thy memory, see thou character. Give thy thoughts no tongue, nor any unproportioned thought his act. Be thou familiar, but by no means vulgar, and those friends thou hast, in their adoption tried, grapple them to thy soul with boots of steel, but do not dull thy palm with entertainment of each new hat's unfledged comrade. Beware of entrance to a quarrel, but being in, bear it that the opposed shall beware of thee. Give every man thy ear, but few thy voice. Take each man's censure, but reserve thy judgment. Neither a borrower nor a lender be, for loan oft loses both itself and loan, and dulls the edge of husbandry. And this above all, to thine own self be true. And it must follow as the night the day, thou canst not then be false to any man. Farewell, thy blessing season this indeed.
Most humbly do I take my leave, my lord.
The time invites you. Go, your servants tend.
Farewell, Ophelia, and remember well what I have said to you.
'Tis in my memory locked, and you yourself shall keep the key of it.
Farewell.
What is it, Ophelia, he hath said to you?
So please you, something touching the Lord Hamlet.
Ah, Mary, well bethought. 'Tis told me he hath very oft of late given private time to you, and you yourself have of your audience been most free and bounteous. What is between you two? Give me up the truth.
He hath of late, my lord, made many tenders of his affections to me.
Affections, pooh. You speak like a green girl unsifted in such perilous circumstance. Do you believe his tenders, as you call them?
I do not know, my lord, what I should believe.
Mary, I will teach you. Believe yourself a baby, that you obtain these tenders for true pay, which are not sterling. Tender yourself more dearly, or, not to crack the wind of the poor phrase running it thus, you'll tender me a fool.
My lord, he hath importuned me with love in honorable fashion.
Oh, fashion, you call it. Go to.
And given countenance to his speech, my lord, with almost all the holy vows of heaven.
Springes to catch woodcocks. I do know, when the blood burns, how prodigal the soul lends the tongue vows. These blazes, daughter, giving more light than heat, extinct in both, even in their promise as it is a making, you must not take for fact. From this time, do not believe his vows. In few, Ophelia, I would not, from this time, in plain terms, have you so slander any moment leisure as to give words or talk with the Lord Hamlet. Look to it, I charge you. Come your ways.
I shall obey, my lord.
Bites shrewdly. It is very cold.
'Tis a nipping and eager air.
What hour now?
I think it lacks of 12.
No, it has struck.
Has it? I heard it not. Then it draws near the season in which this spirit held his wont to walk. What does this mean, my lord?
The king doth wake tonight and take his rounds, keeping wassail in the swaggering upspring reels. And as he drains his draughts of Rhenish wine, the kettle drum and the trumpet thus bray out the triumph of his pledge.
Is it a custom?
Aye, marry, it's. But to my mind, though I am a native here and to the manor born, it is a custom more honored in the breach than in the observance.
Look, Lord, it comes!
Angels and ministers of grace defend us! Be thou spirit of health, O goblin damned! Bring with the airs of heaven, O blast from hell! Be thy intent wicked or charitable, thou comest in such a questionable shape that I will speak to thee. I'll call thee Hamlet, king, father, royal Dane, answer me! Do not let me burst in ignorance, but tell me why the sepulchre wherein which we saw thee quietly inurned hath oped its ponderous and marble jaws to cast thee up again. Oh, say, wherefore? What should we do?
It beckons for you to go away with it, as if some impartment did desire to you alone.
Look with what courteous actions waves you more roots ground, but do not go with it.
No, by no means.
It will not speak, and I will follow it.
Not, my lord.
Why? What should be the fear? I do not hold my life at a pin's fee. As for my soul, what can it do to that being a thing immortal as itself? It waves me forth again. I'll follow it.
What if it tempt you toward the flood, my lord? or to the dreadful summit of a cliff that beetles o'er his base into the sea, and there assume some other horrible form which might deprive you of your sovereignty of reason and draw you into madness.
Waves me forth again. Go on, I'll follow thee.
You shall not go.
Hold off your hands.
Be ruled, you shall.
My fate cries out and makes each petty artery in this body as hardy as an Nemean lion's nerve. Still I am cold. Unhand me, gentlemen. By heaven, I'll make a ghost of him that lets me. I say away. Go on, I'll follow thee.
He waxes desperate with imagination.
Let's follow. 'Tis not fit thus to obey him.
Have after. To what issue shall this come?
Something is rotten in the state of Denmark.
Heaven will direct it.
Nay, let's follow.
Whither wilt thou lead me? Speak! I'll go no further.
Mark me!
I will.
My hour is almost come, when I to sulphurous and tormenting flames must render up myself.
Alas, poor ghost.
Pity me not, but lend thy serious hearing to what I shall unfold.
Speak, I'm bound to hear.
So art thou to revenge, when thou shalt hear.
What?
I am thy father's spirit, doomed for a certain term to walk the night, and for the day confined to fasting fires, till the foul crimes done in my days of nature are burnt and purged away. But that I am forbid to tell the secrets of my prison house, I could a tale unfold, whose latest word would harrow up thy soul. Freeze thy young blood, make thy two eyes like stars start from the spheres, thy knotted and combined locks to part, and each particular hair to stand on end, like quills upon the fretful porpentine. But this eternal blazon must not be to ears of flesh and blood. List, oh, list! If ever thou didst thy dear father love,
Oh, God!
revenge is foul and most unnatural murder.
Murder!
Murder most foul, as in the best it is. But this most foul, strange, and unnatural.
Haste me to know that I with wings as swift as meditation or the thoughts of love may sweep to my revenge.
I find thee apt, and duller shouldst thou be than the fat weed that roots itself in ease on lay thy wharf. Wouldst thou not stir in this? Now, Hamlet, hear! 'Tis given out that, sleeping in my orchard, a serpent stung me. So the whole ear of Denmark is by a forged process of my death rankly abused. But know thou, noble youth, the serpent that did sting thy father's life now wears his crown.
Oh, my prophetic soul! My uncle!
Aye, that incestuous, that adulterate beast, with witchcraft of his wit, with traitorous gifts, oh, wicked wit and gifts, that have the power so to seduce one to his shameful lust, the will of my most seeming virtuous queen. Oh, Hamlet, but the falling off was there, from me whose love was of that dignity that it went hand in hand, even with a vow I made to her in marriage, and to decline upon a wretch whose natural gifts were poor to those of mine. So lust, but to a radiant angel linked, will sate itself in a celestial bed and prey on garbage. Soft, methinks I scent the morning air. Brief let me be, sleeping within my orchard, my purpose always of the afternoon. Upon my secure hour thy uncle stole, the juice of cursed heaven and in a vial, and in the porches of my ears did pour the leprous distillment, whose effect holds such an enmity with blood of man that swift as quicksilver it courses through the natural gates and alleys of the body, and with a sudden vigor deposit and curd like sour droppings into milk the thin and wholesome blood. So did it mine. The most instant tetter barked about, most Lazar-like, with vile and loathsome crust all my smooth body. Thus was I, sleeping by a brother's hand, of life of crown, of queen at once dispatched, cut off even in the blossoms of my sin, unhouselled, disappointed, unannealed, no reckoning made, but sent to my account with all my imperfections on my head.
Oh, horrible! Horrible! Most horrible!
If thou hast nature in thee, bear it not. Let not the royal bed of Denmark be a couch for luxury and damned incest. But howsoever thou pursuest this act, take not thy mind, nor let thy soul contrive against thy mother aught. Leave her to heaven, and to those thorns that in her bosom lodge to prick and sting her. Fare thee well at once. The glowworm shows the matin to be near, and gins the pale his ineffectual fire. I must be going. Adieu, adieu, Hamlet, remember me.
Oh, all you hosts of heaven! Oh, earth, what else? And shall I couple hell? Fie. Oh, fie. Oh. Hold my heart. And you, my sinews, grow not instant old, but bear me stiffly up. Oh. Remember thee. I, thou poor ghost, while memory holds a seat in this distracted globe. Remember thee. Yea, from the table of my memory, I'll wipe away all fond records, and thy commandment alone shall live within the book and volume of my brain, unmixed with baser matter. Yes, my heaven. Oh, most pernicious woman, and villain, villain, smiling, damned villain. My tables. Meat it is, and I will set it down that one may smile and be a villain. At least I'm sure that it may be so in Denmark. So, uncle, there you are. Now to my word. It is adieu, adieu. Remember thee. I have sworn it.
My lord! Lord Hamlet!
So be it.
Oh, my lord!
Hello, come, man, come.
How is my noble lord?
What news, my lord?
Oh, wonderful.
Good, my lord, tell it.
No! You'll reveal it.
Not I, my lord, by heaven.
Nor I, by heaven.
Then would heart of a man once think it? But you'll be secret?
Aye, by heaven, my lord.
There's ne'er a villain dwelling in all of Denmark, but he is an arrant's knave.
There needs no ghost, my lord, come from the grave to tell us this.
Why, right you are. You are in the right, and so I hold it fit that we shake hands and part. You to your business and desire shall lead you, for every man has business and desire, such as it is. For me and my own poor part, look you, I'll go pray.
These are but wild and whirling words, my lord.
I'm sorry that they have offended you heartily.
There is no offense, my lord.
Yes, by St. Patrick, but there is, Horatio, and much offense, too. Touching this vision here, it is an honest ghost. That, let me tell you, for your desire to know what is between us or master it as you may. And now, good friends, as you are scholars, soldiers, and friends, give me one poor request.
What is it, my lord? We will.
Never make known what you have seen tonight.
Never, my lord.
Nay, but swear it.
Not I, my lord, in faith.
Nor I, in faith.
Upon my sword.
My lord, we have already
Indeed, upon my sword, indeed.
Propose the oath, my lord.
Never make known of this that you have seen tonight. Swear by my sword.
Swear by his sword!
Well said, old mole.
Canst thou work in the ground so quickly? A worthy pioneer.
Oh, day and night, this is wondrous strange.
And therefore, as a stranger, give it welcome. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, that are dreamt of in your philosophy. But come, here, as before, never so help you mercy, as I, perchance hereafter, shall think meet to put an antic disposition on, that you at such times seeing me never shall with arms encumbered thus, or this head shake, or such ambiguous giving out to note that you know aught of me. This not to do. So grace and mercy at your most needs help you. Swear. Swear! Rest! Rest, perturbed spirit. Now, gentlemen, with all my love I do commend me to you. Let us go in together. So your fingers to your lips, I pray. The time is out of joint. Oh, cursed spite, that ever I was born to set it right. Nay, come, let us go in together.
What's the matter?
Oh, my lord, I've been so frightened.
With what, in the name of God?
As I was sewing in my closet, Lord Hamlet, with his doublet all ungartered, no hat upon his head, his stockings foul, pale as his shirt, his knees knocking each other, and with a look so piteous and purport as if he had been loosed out of hell to speak of horrors, he comes before me.
Bad for thy love?
My lord, I do not know, but truly I do fear it.
What said he?
He took me by the wrist and held me hard. And then goes he to all the length of his arm, and with his other hand thus o'er his brow, he falls to such perusal of my face as he would draw it. Long stayed he so. At last he raised a sigh so piteous and profound as it did seem to shatter all his bulk and end his being. That done, he lets me go.
Come, go with me. This is the very ecstasy of love, whose violent property foredoes itself and leads the will to desperate undertakings as oft as any passion under heaven that doth afflict our natures. Oh, I am sorry. What? Did you give him any hard words of late?
No, my good lord. But as you did command, I did repel his fetters and denied his access to me.
That hath made him mad. I am sorry that with better heed and judgment I had not noted him. I feared he did but trifle and meant to wreck thee. But beshrew my jealousy. Come, go we to the king. This must be known, which, being kept close, might cause more grief to hide than hate to utter love.
Welcome, dear Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. The need we have to use you did provoke our hasty sending. Something have you heard of Hamlet's transformation, what it should be more than his father's death, that thus has put him so much from the understanding of himself, I cannot dream of. But I entreat you both that, being of so young days brought up with him, so by your companies draw him on to pleasures, and to gather so much as from occasion you might glean whether aught to us unknown afflicts him thus, that opened lies within our remedy.
Good gentlemen, he hath much talked of you, and sure I am two men there are not living to whom he more adheres. If it will please you as to expend your time with us a while, your visitation shall receive such thanks as fits a king's remembrance.
Both your majesties might, by the sovereign power you have of us, put your dread pleasures more into command than to entreat.
But we both obey, and here give up ourselves in the full bent to lay our service freely at your feet to be commanded.
Thanks, dear Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
Thanks, Guildenstern, and gentle Rosencrantz. And I beseech you instantly to visit my too much changed son.
Heavens make our presence and our practices pleasant and helpful to him.
Ah, amen.
But my lord, the ambassador from Norway is joyfully returned.
Thou still hast been the father of good news.
Have I, my lord? I assure you, my liege, I hold my duty as I hold my soul. both to my God and to my gracious King. And I do believe, ere this brain of mine hunts not the trail of policy so sure as it has used to do, that I have found the very cause of Hamlet's lunacy.
Oh, speak of that. That do I long to hear.
Give first admittance to the ambassador. My news shall be the fruit to that great feast.
Thyself do grace to them and bring them in. He tells me, my dear Gertrude, he hath found the hidden source of all your son's distemper.
I doubt it is no other but the main, his father's death, and our o'er-hasty marriage.
Well, we shall sift him. Welcome, good friend. Say, Cornelius, what from our brother Norway?
Most fair return of greetings and desires. Upon our first, he sent out to suppress his nephew's levies, which to him appeared to be a preparation against the Polak. But, better looked into, he truly found it was against your highness, which grieved him, so his sickness, age, and impotence was falsely borne in hand. Sends out arrest on Fortinbras, which he in brick obeys, and in fine makes vow before his uncle never again to give the essay of arms against your majesty. Whereon all Norway, overcome with joy, gives him 3,000 crowns in annual fee and commission to employ those soldiers so levied as before against the Polak. But the entreaty here has shown, might it please you to give quiet pass to their dominions on such regards of safety and allowance which they all set down.
It likes us well, and at our more considered time we'll read, answer, and think upon this business. Meantime, we thank you for your well-took labor. Go to your rest, at night we'll feast together. Most welcome home.
That matter is well ended. My liege and madam, to expostulate what majesty should be, what duty is, why day is day, time, and night is night, were nothing but to waste night, day, and time. Therefore, since brevity is the soul of wit, and tediousness the limbs and outward flourishes, I will be brief. Your noble son is mad. Mad call I it. For to define true madness, what is it but to be nothing else but mad? But let that go.
More matter with less art.
Madam, I swear I use no art at all. That he is mad, 'tis true. 'Tis true, 'tis pity, and pity 'tis true. A foolish figure, but farewell it, for I will use no art. Mad let us grant him then, and thus it remains that we find the cause of this effect, or rather say the cause of this defect. For this effect, defective, comes by cause. Thus it remains, and the remainder thus, perpend. I have a daughter, have while she is mine, who in her duty and obedience mark hath given me this. Now gather in surmise. To the celestial and my soul's idol, the most beautified Ophelia. Oh, that's an ill phrase, a vile phrase. Beautified is a vile phrase. But you shall hear thus. In her excellent white bosom these, etc., etc.
Came this from Hamlet to her?
Good madam, stay a while, I will be faithful. Doubt though the stars are fired, doubt that the sun doth move, doubt truth to be a liar, but never doubt I love. O most dear, believe it, adieu, thine evermore, most dear lady, whilst this machine is to him, Hamlet. This in obedience hath my daughter shown me, and more above hath his solicitings, as they fell out by time, by means, and place, all given to mine ear.
How hath she received his love?
What do you think of me?
As of a man faithful and honorable?
I would fain prove so. But what might you think if I had seen this hot love on the wing, and looked upon this love with idle sight? What might you think? No. I went round to work, and my young mistress thus I did bespeak. Lord Hamlet is a prince out of thy star. This cannot be. And then I precepts gave her, that she should lock herself away from his resort, admit no messengers, receive no tokens. This done, she took the fruits of my advice, and he, repulsed, a short tale to make, fell into a sadness, thence to a weakness, thence to a watch, thence to a lightness, and by this declension into the madness wherein now he raised, and all we mourn for.
Do you think 'tis this?
It may be, very likely.
Hath there ever been such a time? I'd fain know that I have positively said 'tis so when it proved otherwise.
Not that I know.
Well, take this from this, if this be otherwise. If circumstances lead, I'll find where truth is hid, though it be hid indeed within the center.
How may we try it further?
You know, sometimes he walks 4 hours together in this lobby.
So he does, indeed.
At such a time, I'll loose my daughter to him. Be you and I behind the arras then. Mark the encounter. If she love him not, and be not from his reason fallen thereon, let me be no assistant to the state, but keep a farm and carters.
We will try it.
But look, for sadly the poor wretch comes reading.
Away, I do beseech you both, away. I'll board him presently. Oh, give me leave. How does my good Lord Hamlet?
Well, God of mercy.
Do you know me, Lord?
Excellent well. You are a fishmonger.
Not I, my lord.
Then I would you were so honest a man.
Oh, honest, indeed, my lord.
Ah, sir, to be honest as this world goes is to be one man picked out of 10,000.
Very true, my lord.
Or if the sun breed maggots in a dead dog, being a god-kissing carrion. Have you a daughter?
I have, my lord.
Let her not walk in the sun. Conception is a blessing, not as your daughter may conceive it. Friend, look to it.
What say you by this? Still harping on my daughter, yet he knew me not at first. He said I was a fishmonger. Oh, he is far gone, far gone. But yet, in my youth, I did suffer much extremity for love, very near to this. I'll speak to him again. What do you read, my lord?
Words. Words.
What is the matter, my lord?
Between who?
I mean, the matter that you read, my lord.
Slanders, sir. The satirical rogue says here that old men have gray beards, their faces are wrinkled, their eyes hurting thick, and the plum tree gum, and that they have an incredible lack of wit, together with most weak hands. All which, sir, though I most powerfully and potently believe, yourself, sir, should be as old as I am, if like a crab you could walk backwards.
Though this is madness, yet there is method in it. Will you walk out of the air, my lord?
Into my grave.
Indeed, that is out of the air. Pregnant, sometimes his replies are. I'll leave him and suddenly contrive the means of meeting between him and my daughter. My honorable lord, I most humbly take my leave of you.
Oh, you cannot, sir, take from me anything that I will more willingly part with all, except my life. Except my life. Except my life.
Fare you well, my lord.
These tedious old fools.
We go to seek the Lord Hamlet. There he is.
God save you, sir. My honored lord, my most dear lord.
My excellent good friends, how dost thou do instead? Rosencrantz, good lads, how do ye both?
As the indifferent children of the earth, happy in that we are not over happy. On fortune's cap, we are not the very button.
Nor the soles of her shoes?
Neither, my lord.
Then you live about her waist or in the middle of her favors.
Faith, her private suite!
Oh, most true, she is a strumpet. But what's the news?
Well, none, my lord, but that the world's grown honest.
Then is doomsday near. Your news is not true. let me question more particular friends. What have you deserved at the hands of fortune that she sends you to prison hither?
Prison, my lord.
Denmark is a prison.
Then is the world one.
A goodly one, in which there are many confines, wards, and dungeons, Denmark being one of the worst.
We think not so, my lord.
Why then 'tis none to you, for there is nothing good or bad, but thinking makes it so, and to me, it is a prison.
Why then your ambition makes it one. 'Tis too narrow for your mind.
Oh God, I could be bound in a nutshell and count myself a king of infinite space, were it not that I had bad dreams.
Which dreams indeed are ambition, for the very substance of the ambitious is merely a shadow of a dream.
A dream itself is but shadow.
Truly. And I hold ambition of so light and airy a quality that it is but a shadow's shadow.
No such matter. I would not sort you with the rest of my servants, for to speak to you like an honest man, I most dreadfully attended. But in the beaten way of friendship, what make you at Elsinore?
To visit you, my lord. No other occasion.
Beggar that I am even poor in thanks. But I thank you. And sure, good friends, my thanks are too dear a halfpenny. Were you not sent for? Is it your own inclining? Is it a free visitation? Come, deal justly with me. Come, nay, speak.
What should we say, my lord?
Why, anything, but to the purpose. You were sent for, and there is a kind of confession in your looks which your modesties have not craft enough to give them color. I know the good king and queen have sent for you.
What say you?
Nay, then I have an eye of you. If you love me, hold not off.
My lord, we were sent for.
I will tell you why. I have of late, but wherefore I know not, lost all my mirth, foregone all custom of exercise, and indeed it falls so heavily with my disposition that this goodly frame, the earth, appears to me a sterile promontory. This most excellent canopy, the air, look you. This brave, o'erhanging firmament, this majestical roof, fretted with golden fire, appears to me no other thing than a foul and pestilent congregation of vapors. What a piece of work is man! How noble in reason, how infinite in faculty, in form and moving, how express and admirable, in action, how like an angel, in apprehension, how like a god, the beauty of this world, the paragon of animals, and yet, to me, what is this quintessence of dust? Man delights not me. No, nor woman neither. But by your smiling, you seem to say so.
My lord, there was no such stuff in my thoughts.
Why did you smile when I said, man delights not me?
To think, if you delight not in man, what Lenten entertainment the players shall receive from you. We coted them on the way, and hither have they come to offer you service.
You are welcome, friends, your hands. Come then. You are welcome at Elsinore. Oh, but my uncle, father, and aunt, mother are much deceived.
In what, my dear lord?
That I am but bad north by northwest, but when the wind is southerly, I see a hawk from a handsaw. Gillen, sir, and you too, and each era here. You see that great baby there is not yet out of his swaddling clouts.
Happily, he's the second time come to them. For they say an old man is twice a child.
My lord, I have news for you. The players are here.
Oh, you are welcome, masters. Welcome all. My old friend, thy face is balanced since I saw thee last. Comest thou to beard me in Denmark? My young lady and mistress. By lady, your ladyship is nearer to heaven than when I saw thee last. May your voice, like a piece of uncurrent gold, be not cracked within the ring. You are welcome, masters. Good, my lord. Will you see these players well bestowed? Do you hear? Put them to good use, for they the abstract and brief chronicles of the time. After your death, you will better have a bad epitaph in the ill reports while you live.
I will use them according to their desert.
God, Butkins, man, much better. Use every man after his desert, and who should escape whipping? Use them to your own honor and dignity. The less they deserve, the more merit is in your bounty. Go, take them in.
Come, sirs.
Follow him, friend. We'll hear a play tomorrow night. Dost thou hear me, old friend? Can you play the Murder of Gonzago?
I am in order.
We'll have it tomorrow night. You could, for a need, study some speech of a dozen or 16 lines, which I would sit down and insert, could you not?
I'm in order.
Very well. Follow that lord. And look you, mock him not. Now I am alone. What a rogue and peasant slave am I. Is it not monstrous that this player here, but in a fiction, in a dream of passion, could force his soul so to his own conceit that from her working all his visage waned, and all for nothing, for Hecuba? What is Hecuba to him, or he to Hecuba, that he should weep for her? What would he do had he the motive and cue for passion that I have? He would drown the stage with tears, make mad the guilty and appall the free, confound the ignorant and amaze indeed the very faculty of eyes and ears. Yet I, a dull and muddy-meddled rascal, peak like a John of dreams, unpregnant of my cause and can say nothing. No, not for a king whose property and dear life a damned defeat was made. Am I a coward? Who calls me a villain? Zound, I should take it, for it cannot be, but I am pigeon-livered and lack gall to make oppression bitter. For ere this, I should have fatted the Regent kites with this slave's bloody offal. Bloody, body villain, morseless, treacherous, lecherous, kindless, damned villain, oh vengeance! What an ass am I! This is most brave, that I, the son of a dear Father Murphy, prompted to his revenge by heaven and hell, must like a whore unpack my heart with words, and Father cursing like a very drab, sculling, fire, fire! Of my brain. I have heard that guilty creatures sitting at a play have, by the very cunning of a scene, been struck so to the soul that presently they proclaim their malefactions. For murder, though it have no tongue, will speak with miraculous organ. I'll have these players play something like the murder of my father before mine uncle. I'll observe his looks. I'll tempt him to the quick. If he but blench, I know my course. The spirit that I have seen may be the devil, and the devil hath power to assume a pleasing shape. Yea, and perhaps out of my weakness and melancholy abuses me to damn me. I'll have grounds more relative than this. The play's the thing, when I'll catch the conscience of the king.
Can you by no drift of circumstance get from him why he puts on this confusion, rating so harshly all his days of quiet with turbulent and dangerous lunacy?
He does confess he feels himself distracted. But from what cause he will by no means speak.
Nor do we find him forward to be sounded, but with a crafty madness keeps aloof when we would bring him on to some confession of his true state.
Did he receive you well?
Most like a gentleman, but with much forcing of his disposition.
Did you essay him to any pastime?
Madam, it so fell out that certain players we o'erwrought on the way. Of these we told him, and there did seem in him a kind of joy to hear of it. They are about the court and have order already this night to play before him.
'Tis very true, and he beseeched me to entreat your majesties to hear and see the matter.
With all my heart, and it doth much content me to hear him so inclined. Good gentlemen, give him a further edge and drive his purpose on to these delights.
We shall, my lord.
Sweet Gertrude, leave us too, for we have closely sent for Hamlet hither, that he, as 'twere by accident, may here affront Ophelia. Her father and myself, lawful espials, will so bestow ourselves that, seeing unseen, we may of their encounter frankly judge and gather by him as he is behaved, if be the affliction of his love or no, that thus he suffers for.
I shall obey you. And for your part, Ophelia, I do wish that your good beauties be the happy cause of Hamlet's wildness. So shall I hope your virtues will bring him to his wonted way again, to both your honors.
Madam, I wish it may.
Ophelia, sit you here.
Your grace, let us bestow ourselves. Agree upon this, Lord. I hear him coming. Let's withdraw, my lord.
To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether it is nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles and by opposing end them. To die. To sleep. No more. And by a sleep, we say it is to end the heartache and the 1,000 natural shocks that flesh is heir to. It is a consummation devoutly to be wished. To die. To sleep. To sleep, perchance to dream. Ah, there's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil must give us pause. There's the calamity that makes so long a life. For who would stand the wits and scorns of time, the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pains of despised love, the laws delayed, the insolence of office, the spurns that patient merit of the unworthy takes, while he himself might his quietus make with a bare buck? Who would fortals bear to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but at that dread of something after death, that undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveler returns, puzzles the will and makes us rather bear the ills we have than fly to others that we know not of. And thus conscience does make cowards of us all. And thus, the native hue of resolution is sickly ored with the pale cast of thought, and enterprise of great pith and moment with disregard their currents turn awry and lose the name of action. But soft you now, the fair Ophelia, nymph! In thy orisons be all my sins remembered.
Good my lord, how does your honor for this many a day?
I humbly thank you. Well, well, well.
My lord, I have remembrances of yours that I have longed to re-deliver. I pray you now receive them.
No, not I.
own sweet breath composed has made the tint more rich. Their perfume lost. Take easy heading, for to the noble mind rich gifts wax poorly, givers prove unkind. There, my lord.
Ha! Are you honest?
My lord?
Are you fair?
What means your lordship?
For if you be honest and fair, your honesty should admit no discourse to your beauty.
Good beauty, my lord, have better commerce than with honesty.
Aye, truly, for the power of beauty will sooner translate honesty from what it is to a bard than the force of honesty to translate beauty to his own likeness. This was sometimes a paradox, but now the time gives it truth. I did love you. Once.
Indeed, my lord. You made me believe so.
You should not have believed me. For virtue cannot so inoculate our old stock, but we shall relish of it. I loved you not.
I was more deceived.
Get thee to a nunnery! Why wouldst thou be a breeder of sinners? I am myself am indifferent, honest, but yet I could accuse me of such things that were better my mother had not borne me. I am very proud, revengeful, and ambitious, with more offenses at my beck than I have thoughts to put them in, imagination, to give them shape, or time to act them in. Why should such fellows as I do crawling between heaven and earth? We are arrant knaves, all, believe none of us, and go thy ways to a nunnery. Where is your father?
At home, my lord.
Let the doors be locked upon him, if he may play the fool, no weapon in his own house. Farewell.
Oh, sweet heavens, help him!
Oh, if thou dost marry, I'll give thee this blade for thy dowry. Be thou as chaste as ice, as pure as snow, thou shalt not escape calumny. To a nunnery go, or if thou wilt needs marry, marry, fool. For wise men know well enough what monsters you make of them. To a nunnery, and quickly to farewell.
Heavenly Father, restore!
I have heard of your paintings too. Well enough. God hath given you one face, and you make yourself another. You jig, you amble, and you lisp. You make sure wantonness your ignorance. Go to! I'll know your house! It hath made me mad! I say there will be no more marriages! Those that are married, all but one shall live. The rest shall keep as they are. To a nunnery. Go!
No, what a noble mind is here o'erthrown! And I, of ladies most deject and wretched, that have sucked the honey of his music vows, now see that noble and whose sovereign reason, like sweet bells, dangle out of tomb and heart. The former teacher of love, you blasted with ecstasy. Oh, woe is me! To see what I am see! See what I see!
Love? His affections do not that way tend. Nor when he spoke, though it lacked form a little, was not like madness. There's something in his soul o'er which his melancholy sits on brood, and I do doubt the hatching that disclosed will be some danger, which for to prevent, I have in quick determination thus set it down. He shall with speed to England, for the demand of our neglected tribute. Happily the seas and countries different with variable objects will expel this something settled matter from his heart, whereon his brain still beating puts him thus from fashion of himself. What think you on it?
Oh, it shall do well, my lord. But yet do I believe the origin and commencement of his grief sprung from neglected love. How now, Ophelia? You need not tell us what Lord Hamlet said, we heard it all. My lord, do as you please, but if you hold it fit, after the play, let his queen mother all alone entreat him to show his grief. Let her be round with him, and I will be placed so please you in the ear of all their conflicts. If she find him not, to England send him, or confine him where your wisdom best shall think.
Shall be so. Madness in great ones must not unwatched go.
Speak the speech, I pray you, as I pronounced it to you, trippingly on the tongue. But if you mouth it, as many of your players do, I'd have make the town crier spoke my lines. Nor do not saw the air too much with your hand thus, but use all gently. For in the very torrent, tempest, and, as I may say, whirlwind of passion, you must acquire and beget a certain temperance that may give it all smoothness. It offends me to the soul to hear a robustious, perry-pated fellow tear a passion to tatters, to very rags, to split the ears of the groundlings, who, for the most part, are capable of nothing but inexplicable dumb shows and noise. I have such a fellow whipped for doing termagants. Without Herod's Herod, I pray you, avoid it. Thy words, your honor, be not too tame neither. Let your own discretion be your tutor. Suit the action to the word to the action, with this special o'erstep, not the modesty of nature. For anything so overdone is from the purpose of playing, both at the first and now, was and is to hold as 'twere a mirror up to nature. Go, make you ready. How now, my lord? Will the king hear this piece of work?
And the queen too, and presently.
Bid the players make haste. And will you two help hasten them?
We will, my lord.
What ho, Horatio? Here, sweet lord, at your service. There's a play tonight before the king. One scene of it comes very near the circumstance which I have told thee of my father's death. I pray thee, when thou seest this act afoot, even with the very content of thy soul, observe mine uncle. If this occulted guilt do not itself unkindle in one such speech, it is a damned ghost that we have seen, and my imaginations are as foul as Vulcan's stithy. Give him heedful note, for mine eyes will rivet to his face, and after we will both our judgments join in censure of his seeming.
Well, my lord, if he still ought while the play is playing and escape detection, I'll pay the theft.
They're coming to the play. I must be idle. Get to a place.
How fares our cousin Hamlet?
Oh, excellent! In faith of the chameleon's dish, I eat the air. Promise grand. You cannot be taken so.
I have nothing with this answer, Hamlet. These words are not mine.
No? Don't mind now. My lord, you played once in the university, you say?
That did I, my lord, and was accounted a good actor.
What did you enact?
I did enact Julius Caesar. I was killed in the Capitol. Brutus killed me.
Was a brute part of him to kill so capital a calf there. Be the players ready.
Aye, my lord. They stay upon your page.
Come hither, my dear man, sit by me.
No. Here's metal more attractive.
Oh, you mark this?
Lady, shall I lie in your lap?
No, my lord.
I mean my head upon your lap.
Aye, my lord.
Did you think I'm in country matters?
I think nothing, my lord.
There's a fair thought to lie between a maid's legs.
What is, my lord?
Nothing.
You are married, my lord.
Who are?
I, my lord.
Oh, God, you're only king-maker. What should a man do but be married? For look you, how cheerfully my mother looks, and my father died not within these 2 hours.
Nay, 'tis twice 2 months, my lord.
So long? Nay, then, let the devil wear black, for I'll have a suit of sables. Dead 2 months, and not forgotten yet. Well, then there's hope a great man's memory may outlive his life half a year.
The greatest actors in the world, either for tragedy, comedy, history, pastoral, historical, tragical, historical, comical, historical, pastoral, sing inevitable, Paul Unlimited. Neither Seneca can be too heavy nor Plautus too light. For the law of grit and liberty, these are the only men.
For us and for our tragedy, here stooping into your clemency, we beg your hearing patiently.
Is this a prologue or the posy of a ring?
'Tis brief, my lord.
As woman's love.
Full 30 times hath Phoebus' cart gone round, Neptune's salt wash and Tellus orbit ground, and 30,000 moons with about a beam about the world have times 12 30s been, since of our hearts and Hymen did our hands unite commutual in most sacred bands.
So many journeys made a sun and moon make us again concord and love begun. But woe is me, you are so sick of late, so far from cheer and from your former state. Now what my love is, proof hath made you know, and thus my love is sized, my fear is so. Where love is great, the littlest doubts are fear. Where little fears grow great, great love grows there.
Faith, I must leave thee, love, and shortly too. My operant powers their functions leave to do. And thou shalt live in this fair world behind. Honored be love, and haply one as kind for husband.
Oh, confound the rest! Such love must needs be treason in my breast. And second husband, let me be accursed. None wed the second, but who killed the first.
Wormwood.
The instances that second marriage move are base respects of thrift, but none of love. A second time I killed my husband dead. One second husband kisses me in bed.
I do believe you think what now you speak, but what we do determine oft we break. Most necessary 'tis that we forget to pay ourselves what to ourselves is debt. What to ourselves love lead fortune, or else fortune love. So think thou wilt no second husband wed, but die thy thoughts when thy first lord is dead.
Nor earth to me give food, nor heaven light. Sport and repose walk from me day and night. To desperation turn my trust and hope. An anchor's here in prison be my scope. Each opposite that blanks the face of joy meets what I would have well, and it destroy. Both here and hence pursue me lasting strife. If once a widow, ever I be wife.
If she should break it now.
'Tis deeply sworn. Sweet, leave me here a while. My spirits grow dull. Fain I would beguile the tedious day with sleep.
Sleep rock thy brain, and never come mischance between us twain.
Madam, how like you this place?
The lady protests too much, methinks.
Oh, but she'll keep her word.
Have you heard the argument? Is there no offense in it?
No, they do but jest. Poison in jest. No offense in the world.
The
mouse trap. Here is one Lucianus, nephew to the king.
You are as good as a chorus, my lord.
I could interpret between you and your love if I could see the puppets dallying.
You are king, my lord, you are king.
So you must take your husband. Begin, murderer fox! Breathe thy damnable faces and begin! Come! Broken raven and bellow for revenge.
Thoughts black, hands that, drugs fit and time agreeing. Confederate season, else no creature seeing. Foul mixture bank of midnight weeds collected with Hecate's band. Thrice blasted, thrice infected, by natural magic and dire property. Wholesome life, usurp immediately!
What? Frightened with false fire?
Yes, my lord.
Give over the play.
Give me some light!
Light!
Away!
Ah, Horatio, I'll take that ghost words for 1,000 pounds. Give us proceed.
I did very well note him.
And upon the talk of the poison.
Very well.
Come, some music. Come, the recorders. Or if the king like not the company, then come, some music.
Good my lord, vouchsafe me a word with you.
Oh, sir, a whole history.
The king, sir.
Aye, sir, what of him?
It is in his retirement, marvelous his temper.
Your wisdom should show itself more richer. Should you signify this to the doctor? For me to put him to his purgation would perhaps plunge him into more choler.
Good my lord, put your discourse into some frame and start not so wildly for my affair.
I'm tame, sir, pronounce.
Queen, your mother, in most great affliction of spirit, hath sent me to you. Then thus she says, your behavior hath struck her into amazement and admiration.
Oh, wonderful son that can so astonish a mother. But was there nothing at the heels of this mother's admiration impart?
She desires to speak with you in her closet, ere you go to bed.
We shall obey her were she 10 times our mother. Have you any further trade with us?
My lord, you did love me once.
And so do I still, by these pickers and stealers.
Good my lord, what is the cause of your distemper? You do surely bar the door upon your own liberty if you deny your grace to your friend.
To withdraw! Why do you go to recover the wind of me as if it were to drive me into a toil?
Oh, my lord, if my duty be too bold, my love is too unmannerly.
I do not well understand that. We play upon this pipe.
My lord, I cannot.
Oh, I pray you.
Believe me, I cannot.
I do beseech you.
My lord, I know no country.
'Tis as easy as lying. Govern these vintages with your fingers and thumbs. Give it breath with your mouth. It will discourse most eloquent music. Look, here are the stops.
These cannot, I command, in utterance of harmony. I have not the skill.
Why, look you now, what unworthy a thing you make of me. You would play upon me. You would seem to know my stops. You would pluck out the heart of my mystery. You would sound me out from my lowest note to the top of my compass. But there is much music, excellent voice in this little organ, yet you cannot make it speak. Blood, do you think I am easier to be played on than a pipe? Call me what instrument that you will, though you may fret me, you may not play upon me. That's my lord.
The queen will see you and presently.
Dost thou see yonder cloud? It is almost in the shape of a camel.
Aye, by the mast, 'tis like a camel indeed.
Methinks it's like a weasel.
It is backed like a weasel.
Or like a whale.
Very like a whale.
I will come to my mother by and by. They pull me to the top of my banks. I will come to my mother by and by.
I will say so.
By and by is easily said. Leave me!
Now is the very witching time of night, when churchyards yawn and hell itself breathes out contagion to this world. Now I can drink hot blood and do such bitter business as the day would quake to look on. So, now to my mother. Oh, heart, lose not thy nature. Let not ever the soul of Nero enter this firm bosom. Let me be cruel, not unnatural. I'll speak daggers to her, but use none. My tongue and soul in this be hypocrites. How in my words soever she be shent, to give them seals never my soul's consent.
I like him not, nor stands it safe with us to let his madness reign. Therefore prepare you, I your commission will forthwith dispatch, and he to England shall, along with you. The terms of our estate may not endure hazards so dangerous as to hourly grow out of his lunacies.
We will ourselves provide. Most holy and religious fear it is to keep those many, many bodies safe that live and feed upon your majesty.
Arm you, I pray you, to this speedy voyage, for we will fetters put upon this fear that now goes too free-footed.
We will haste us.
My lord, he is going to his mother's closet. Behind the arras I'll convey myself to overhear the process. For as you said, and wisely was it said, 'tis meet that some more audience than a mother, since nature makes them partial, should overhear the speech advanced. Fare you well, my liege. I'll call upon you ere you go to bed and tell you what I know.
Thanks, dear my lord. Oh, my offense is rank. It smells to heaven. It hath the primal eldest curse upon it. A brother's murder. Pray can I not, though inclination be as sharp as will, my stronger guilt defeats my strong intent. And like a man to double business bound, I stand in pause where I shall first begin, and both neglect. What if this cursed hand were thicker than itself with brother's blood? Is there not rain enough in the sweet heavens to wash it white as snow? Whereto serves mercy but to confront the visage of offense? What's in prayer but this twofold force to be forestalled ere we come to fall, or pardoned, being down? Then I'll look up. My fault is past. But oh, what form of prayer can serve my turn? Forgive me my foul murder. That cannot be, since I am still possessed of the effects for which I did the murder. My crown, mine own ambition, my queen. May one be pardoned and retain the offense? In the corrupted currents of this world, offense's gilded hand may shove by justice, and oft 'tis seen the wicked prize itself buys out the law. It is not so above. There is no shuffling. There the offense lies in his true nature, and we ourselves compelled, even to the teeth and forehead of our faults, to give in evidence. What then? What rests? Try what repentance can. What can it not? But what can it when one cannot repent? Oh, wretched state! Oh, bosom black bonded soul that's struggling to be free, art more engaged. Help! Angels! Make a save! Thou, stubborn knees, the heart with strings of steel, you softest sinews of the newborn babe. All may be well.
Now might I do it, Pat. Now that he is praying, and now I'll do it. And so he goes to heaven, and so I am revenged. That would be scanned. A villain kills my father, and for that I, his sole son, do this same villain send to heaven? This is hiring salary, not revenge. He took my father grossly, full of bread, with all his crimes broad blown as flush as May. And how his audit stands, who knows, save heaven. But in our circumstance and course of thought, 'tis heavy upon him. Am I then revenged to take him at the purging of his soul, when he is fit and seasoned for passage? No. Up, sword, and know thou a more horrid hint, when he is drunk asleep, or in his rage, or in the incestuous pleasures of his bed, at gaming, swearing, or about some act that has no relish of salvation in it. Then trip him, that his heels may kick at heaven, but his soul be as damned and black as hell, whereto it goes. My mother stays. This physic but prolongs thy sickly days.
My words fly up, my thoughts remain below. Words without thoughts never to heaven go.
Madam, he will come straight. Look you lay hold to him. Tell him his pranks have been too broad to bear with, and that your grace has screened and stood between much heat and him.
Father!
I'll sconce me even here. Pray you, be round
I'll
with him.
warrant you fear me not. Withdraw, I hear him coming.
Mother! Now, mother, what's the matter?
Hamlet, thou hast thy father much offended.
Mother, thou hast my father much offended.
Come, come, you answer with an idle tongue.
Go, go! Question with a wicked tongue.
What? How now, Hamlet?
What's the matter now?
Have you forgot me?
No! By the rood, not so. You are the queen, your husband's brother's wife. Would it were not so, you are my mother.
Nay then, I'll set those to you that can speak.
They come and sit you down. You shall not budge till I set you up a glass wherein you see the inmost part of you.
What wilt thou do? Thou wilt not murder me! Help! Help!
Help!
Whoa!
Help! What? Help! A rat! Dead!
Dead for a ducat!
Dead! Ah! Ah!
Oh me! What hast thou done?
Nay, I know not. Is it the king?
Oh, what a rash and bloody deed is this!
Bloody deed! Almost as bad, good mother, as to kill a king and marry with his brother.
Kill a king?
Aye, lady, 'twas my word. Thou wretched, rash, and brooding fool! Farewell! I took thee for thy better. Take thy fortune. Thou findest to be too busy is some danger. Leave wringing of your hands. Peace, sit you down. Let me wring your heart, or so I shall, if it be made of penetrable stuff. If damned customs have not brushed it so that it is proof and bulwark against sense.
What have I done that thou darest wag thy tongue in noise so rude against me?
Such an act upon this picture, and of this, the counterfeit presentment of two brothers. Secret grace was seated on his brow, where every god did seem to set his seal to give the world assurance of a man. This was your husband. Look you now what follows. Here is your husband like a mildewed ear blasting his wholesome brother. Have you eyes? Could you on this fair mountain leave to feed and batten with this moor? Have you eyes? You cannot call it love, for at your age the heyday of blood is tame, it is humble, and awaits upon the judgment. What judgment would step from this to this? Sense? Sure you have it, else you could not have motion, but sure that sense is apoplexed. What devil was it that hath cozened you at Hoodman blind? Shame, where is thy blush, rebellious home?
Oh, Hamlet, speak to me no more. Thou turn'st mine eyes into my very soul, and there I see such black and grained spots as will not leave their taint.
Nay, but to live in the rank sweat of an enseamed bed, stewed in corruption, honeying and making love in the nasty style.
Oh, speak no more. These words like daggers enter in mine ears no more, sweet Hamlet.
A murderer and a villain, a slave that is the 20th part the tithe of your preceded lord, a cutpurse to the empire and the throne, that from himself this precious diadem stole and put in his pocket.
No more.
A king of shreds and patches. Save me and overall me with your wings, you heavenly God. What would your gracious figure?
Alas, he's mad.
Dost thou not come your tardy son to chide that lapses in time and passion? Let's go by the important acting of your dread command. Oh, say.
Do not forget, this visitation is but to whet thy almost blunted purpose. But look, amazement on my mother sits. Oh, step between her and her fighting soul. Seat in weakest body's strongest works. Speak to her, Hamlet.
How is it with you, lady?
Alas, how is it with you? But you do bend your eye on vacancy, and with the incorporeal air do all discourse. Gentle son, upon the heated flame of thy distemper sprinkle cool patience. Whereon do you look?
On him. On him, look how pale he glares. Do not look upon me. Lest with your piteous action you do convert my stern effects. Then what I have to do to want true color. Tears perchance for blood.
To whom do you speak this?
Do you see nothing there?
Nothing at all, yet all that is I see.
So do you nothing here?
No, nothing but ourselves.
Look! Look! My father in his habit as he lived! Look! Even now after the portal!
This is the very coinage of your brain. This bottomless creation ecstasy is very cunning in.
Ecstasy? My pulse is yours that perfectly keep time and makes us healthful music. It is not madness that I have uttered. Bring me to the test and I will the matter reword which madness would gamble from. Mother, for the love of grace, let not that mattering unction in your soul, let not your trespass, but my madness speak. It will but skin and film that ulcerous place, while rank corruption, mining all within, infects unseen. Confess yourself to heaven. Repent what is past, avoid what is to come, and do not spread that compost on the weeds to make them ranker.
Oh, Hamlet, thou hast cleft my heart in twain.
Throw away the worst part of it, and live the purer with the other half. Good night, mother. But go not to mine uncle's bed. Assume a virtue if you have it not. Refrain tonight, and that shall lend a kind of easiness to the next absence, the next more easy. For use can almost change the stamp of nature, and either master the devil or throw him out with wondrous potency. Once more, good night. And when you are desirous to be blessed, I'll blessing beg of you. For this same Lord, I do repent. But heaven hath pleased it so to punish me with this, and this with me, that I should be their scourge and minister. I will bestow him, and answer well to the death that I gave him. I must be cruel only to be kind. Thus bad begins and worse remains behind. One word more, good lady.
What shall I do?
Not this, by no means, that I bid you do. Let that bloat king tempt you to bed, pinch wanton on your cheek, or for a pair of Arici kisses make you ravel all this matter out, that I essentially am not in madness, but mad in craft.
Be thou sure, if words be made of breath and breath of life, I have no life to give you what thou hast said to me.
I must to England, you know that.
Lack, I have forgot. Tis so concluded on.
There's letters sealed, and my two schoolfellows whom I will trust as I will Attis Thane, and bear the mandate. He must sweep my way and marshal me to knavery, but let it work. For 'tis the sport to have the engineer hoist with his own petard, and it shall go hard, but I will delve 1 yard below their minds and blow them at the moon. 'Tis most sweet when one line and two crafts directly meet. This fellow will set me packing. I'll lug his guts into the neighbor room. Mother, indeed, this counselor is most still, most secret, and most grave, who in life was a foolish, prating knave. Come, sir. To draw toward an end with you. Oh. Good night, Mother.
profound heaves you must translate to fit we understand. Where is your son?
Ah, my good lord, what I've seen tonight.
How now, Gertrude? How does Hamlet?
Mad as the sea and wind, when both contend which is the mightier. In his lawless fit, behind the arras, hearing something stir, whips out his rapier, cries, a rat, a rat. And in this brainish apprehension kills the unseen good old man.
Oh, heavy deed. It had been so with us had we been there. His liberty is full of threats to all, to you yourself, to us, to everyone. Alas, how shall this bloody deed be answered? It will be laid to us, whose providence should have kept short, restrained and out of haunt this mad young man. But so much was our love, we would not understand what was most fit, but like the owner of a foul disease, to keep it from divulging, let it feed even on the pith of life. Where is he gone?
To draw apart the body he hath killed. He weeps for what he has done.
But we will ship him hence. This vile deed we must with all our majesty and skill both countenance and excuse. Ho, Guildenstern! Good friends, go join you with some further aid. Hamlet in madness hath Polonius slain. and from his mother's closet hath he dragged him. Go seek him out, speak fair, and bring the body into the chapel. Haste in this. Come, Gertrude, we'll call up our wisest friends and let them know both what we mean to do and what's untimely done. Oh, come away! My soul is full of discord and dismay.
Safely stowed.
Hamlet! Lord Hamlet!
Soft, what noise? Who calls on Hamlet? Oh, here they come.
What have you done, my lord, with the dead body?
Compounded it to dust whereto 'tis kin.
Tell us where it is, that we may take it thence and bear it to the chapel.
Do not believe it.
Believe what?
That I can keep your counsel and not mine own. Besides, to be demanded of a sponge, what replication should be made by the son of a king?
Take you me for a sponge, my lord?
I, sir, that soaks up the king's countenance, his rewards, his authorities, but do such officers to the king best service in the end. He keeps them like an ape, an apple in the corner of his jaw, first to be mouthed, then to be last swallowed. When he needs what you have gleaned, it is but squeezing you and sponged. You shall be dry again.
I understand you not, my lord.
I'm glad of it. The knavish speech sleeps in a foolish ear.
My lord, you must tell us where the body is and go with us to the king.
The body is with the king, but the king is not with the body. The king is a thing.
A thing, my lord?
Of nothing. Bring me to him.
How now, what hath befallen?
Where the dead body is bestowed, my lord, we cannot get from him.
But where is he?
Without, my lord, guarded, to know your pleasure.
Bring him before us.
Ho, Guildenstern, bring him, my lord.
Now, Hamlet, where is Polonius?
At supper.
Supper? Where?
Not where he eats, but where he's eaten. A certain convocation of politic worms are even at him. Your worm is your only emperor for diet. We fat all creatures, else to fat us, and we fat ourselves from maggots. Your fat king and your lean beggar is but variable service. 2 dishes, but to 1 table. That's the end.
Alas, alas.
A man may fish with the worm that had ate of a king, and eat of that fish that have fed of that worm.
What dost thou mean by this?
Nothing, but to show you how a king may go a progress through the guts of a beggar.
Where is Polonius?
In heaven. Send thither to see. If your messenger find him not there, seek him in the other place yourself. But indeed, if you do not find him within this month, you shall nose him as you go up the stairs into the lobby.
Go seek him there, Hamlet.
He will stay till you come.
Hamlet, for thine especial safety, this deed must send thee hence with fiery quickness. Therefore prepare yourself. The bark is ready and the wind at help. The associates tend, and everything is bent for England.
For England?
Aye, Hamlet.
Good.
So is it, if thou knewst our purposes.
Well, I see a cherub that sees them. But come, for England. Farewell, dear mother.
Thy loving father, Hamlet.
My mother. Father and mother is but man and wife. Man and wife is but one flesh, and so, my mother. But come, for England.
Follow him at foot. Tempt him with speed aboard. Delay it not. I'll have him hence tonight. Away, for everything else is sealed and done that else leans on the affair. Haste, I pray you! And England, if my love thou holdst at aught, as my great power thereof may give thee sense, thou mayest not set our sovereign process, which imports at full, by letters congruing to that effect, the present death of Hamlet. Do it, England, for like the hectic in my blood he rages, and thou must cure me. Till I know it is done, howe'er my haps, my joys were ne'er begun.
Go, Captain, from me greet the Danish king and tell him, by his license, Fortinbras craves the conveyance of a promised march over his kingdom.
I will do it, my lord.
Go softly on.
Good sir, whose powers are these?
They are of Norway, sir.
How purpose, sir, I pray you?
Against some part of Poland.
Who commands them, sir?
The nephew to old Norway, Fortinbras.
Goes it against the main of Poland, sir, or for some frontier?
Truly to speak, and with no addition, we go to gain some small patch of ground that have been at no profit but the name. To pay 5 ducats, 5, I would not farm it. Nor to yield to Norway or the Pole a rank or rate should it be sold in fee.
Well, then the Polak never will defend it.
It is already garrisoned.
2,000 souls and 20,000 ducats will not debate the question of this straw. This is the imposthume of much wealth and peace that inward breaks, and shows no cause without why the man dies. I humbly thank you, sir.
I'll be with you.
Will it please you go, my lord? I'll be with thee straight, go a little before. How all occasions do inform against me, and spur my dull revenge. What is a man, if his chief good and market of his time be but to sleep and feed? A beast, no more. Sure, he that made us with such large discourse, looking before and after, gave us not that capability or godlike reason to fuss in us unused. Yet I live to say that there is things to do, as if I have the cause and strength and will and means to do it. Examples gross as earth do exhort me. Witness this army here, of such mass and charge, led by a delicate and tender prince, whose spirit and divine ambition puffed makes mouths at the invisible event, exposing what is mortal and unsure to all that fortune, death, and danger dare, even for an eggshell. How stand I then, to have a father killed, a mother stained, and let all sleep? Oh, from this time forth, may my thoughts be bloody, or be nothing worth.
I will not speak with her.
She is importunate, indeed distraught. Her mood will needs be pitied.
What would she have?
She speaks much of her father, says she hears there's tricks of the world, and hems and beats her heart, spurns enviously at straws. She speaks things in doubt that carry but half sense. Her speech is nothing, yet the unshaped use of it doth move the hearers to collection. They aim at it and botch her words up fit to their thoughts. Yet,
Were good as she was spoken with, for she may strew dangerous conjectures and ill-breeding minds.
Let her come in. To my sick soul, as sin's true nature is, each toy seems prologue to some great amiss. So full of artless jealousy is built, it spills itself in fearing to be spilt.
Where is the beauteous majesty of Denmark?
How now, Ophelia?
How should I, your true love, dead and gone, lady. He is dead and gone. At his head a grass-green turf, at his heels a stone.
Nay, but Ophelia.
They pray you mark. White his shroud is the mountain snow, guarded with sweet flowers, which speed west to the grave did go with true love showers.
How do you, pretty lady?
Well, God help you. They say the owl was a baker's daughter. Lord, we know what we are, but we know not what we may be.
Seat upon her father?
Don't pray you. Let's have no words of this. But when they ask you what it means, say you this. Tomorrow is St. Valentine's Day, and all the morning betime, and I, the maid at your window, to be your Valentine. Then up he rose and donned his clothes and took the chamber door. Let in the maid, that out a maid never departed more.
Pretty Ophelia.
Indeed. No! Without an oath. I'll make an end on it. By kiss and by Saint Charity, I'll laugh and buy for shame. Young men will do it, if they come to it, by cock they are to blame. So she, before you tumbled me, you promised me to wed. So what I had done, by yonder sun, and thou hast not come to my death.
How long has she been thus?
Oh, all will be well. We must be patient. But I cannot choose but weep. To think they should lay him in the cold ground. My brother shall know it. And so I thank you for your good counsel. Come, my folks. Good night, ladies. Good night, sweet ladies. Good night. Good night.
Follow her close, give her good watch, I pray you. Oh, 'tis the poison of deep grief. Oh, Gertrude. Gertrude, when sorrows come, they come not single spies, but in battalions. First your father slain, next your son gone, he most violent author of his own just remove. The people muddied, thick and unwholesome in their thoughts and whispers for good Polonius' death. And we have done but greenly and hugger-mugger to inter him. Poor Ophelia, divided from herself and her fair judgment, without the which we are pictures or mere beasts. Oh, my dear Gertrude, this, like to a murdering peace in many places, gives me superfluous death.
What noise is this?
Where are my Schwitzers? Let them guard the doors. What is the matter?
Save yourself, my lord! The ocean o'erpeering of his bliss beats not and flies with more impetuous haste than young Laertes in a riotous head o'erbears your officers. The rebel calls him lord, crying Laertes shall be king. Caps, tongues, and hands applauded to the heavens. Laertes shall be king, Laertes king!
How cheerfully on the false trail they cry. Oh, this is counter, you false Danish dogs.
The doors are broke.
Where is this king? Sir, stand you wolves out! Oh, thou vile king! Give me my father!
Calmly, good Laertes.
That's rumple blood that's called proclaimed me bastard! Christ come to my father! Brands the harlot even here! Between the chaste, unsmirched brow of my true mother!
What is the cause, Laertes, that thy rebellion looks so giant-like? Let him go, Gertrude.
Where is my father?
Dead.
But not by him!
Let him demand his fill.
How came he dead? I must be dawdled with, tell allegiance, vow to the blackest devil, conscience and grace to the profoundest pit, I dare damnation. To this point I stand, that both the worlds I give to negligence. Let come what comes, on me I'll be revenged, most thoroughly for my father.
Who shall stay you?
My will, not all the world, and for my means I'll husband them so well that they shall go far with little.
Good Laertes, if you desire to know the certainty of your dear father's death, is writ in your revenge that swoop stake you draw both friend and foe, winner and loser?
None, but his enemies.
Will you know them then?
To his good friends, thus wide I'll hold my arms.
and like the kind life wind repel it, or pass them with my blood.
Why, now you speak like a good child and a true gentleman. But I'm guiltless of your father's death, and am most sensible in grief for it. It shall, as level to your judgment, pierce, as day does to your eye.
Now, now, what noise is that? Oh, heat dry up my brains! Tears 7 times salt, burn out the sins and virtue of mine eye. By heavens, thy madness shall be paid by weight till our scale turn the beam. O Rose of May, dear maid, kind sister, sweet Ophelia. Oh heavens, is it possible that a young maid to which it be as mortal as an old man's life?
You must sing! Adowna, Adowna, and we call it Adowna. Oh, how the wheel becomes it.
This nothing's more than matter.
Master's daughter. Oh. There's Rosemary. That's for remembrance. Pray, Lord, remember. Oh. There's Pansy. That's for thoughts.
Document and madness. Thoughts and remembrances fitted.
There's Fennel for you. And Columbines. There's room for you. And some for me. We may call it Herb Grace or Sundays. Oh, you must wear your room with a difference. There's a daisy. I would give you some violets, but they withered all when my father died. They say he made a good end.
Thoughts and affliction. Passion hell itself, she turns to favor and to prettiness.
And will he not come again? And will he not come again? No. No, he is dead. Go to thy deathbed, he will never come again. White his beard as the snow of flaxen was his hope. He is gone. He is gone. And we cast away moan, God have mercy on his soul. And on all good Christian souls I pray, God. God be with thee.
You say this, oh God!
Laertes, I must commune with your grief, for you deny me right. Go but apart, make choice of whom your wisest friends you will, and they shall hear and judge twixt you and me, if by direct or by collateral hand they find us touched. We will to you our kingdom give, our crown, our life, and all that we can ours in satisfaction. But if not, be you content to lend your patience to us, and we will labor jointly with your soul to give it due content.
Let this be so. This means of death is obscure funeral. No trophy, sword, no hatchment, or his bones. No noble right, nor formal ostentation. Cry to be heard as from heaven to earth. That I must call in question.
So you shall, and where the offense is, let the great axe fall. Go with me, I pray you.
What is he that would speak with me?
The senator, sir. He says there's letters for you.
Let him come in. I know not from what part of the world I should be greeted if not from the Lord Hamlet.
God bless you, sir.
And let him bless thee too.
He shall, so on, please, sir. There's a letter for you, sir. It comes from the ambassador that was bound for England. If your name be Horatio, as I'm led to know it is.
Horatio, when thou shalt overlook this, give this fellow some means to the king. He has letters for him. Ere we were 2 days old at sea, a pirate, a very warlike appointment, gave us chase. Finding ourselves too slow of sail, we put on a compelled valor, and in the grapple I boarded them. On the instant they got clear of our ship, so I alone became their prisoner. They have dealt with me like thieves of mercy, yet they knew what they did. I am to do a good turn for them. Let the king have the letters I have sent, and repair thou to me with as much speed as thou wouldst fly death. I have words to speak in thine ear will make thee dumb. Yet they are much too light for the bore of the matter. This fellow will bring me where I am. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern hold their course for England. Of them I have much to tell thee. Farewell. Be that thou knowest thine, Hamlet. Come, I will make you way for these letters, and do it the speedier, that you may direct me to him from whom you brought them.
Now must your conscience my acquaintance seal, and you must put me in your heart for friend. Sith you have heard it with a knowing ear, that he which hath your noble father slain pursued my life.
It well appears. But tell me why you proceeded not against these feats so prideful and capitally made. As by your safety, wisdom, and all things else, you mainly was stirred up.
Oh, for two special reasons. The queen, his mother, lives almost by his looks. And for myself, my virtue or my plague, be it either which, she is so conjunctive to my life and soul that, as the star moves not but in his sphere, I could not but by her. The other motive, why to a public count I might not go, is the great love the general gender bear him.
And so have I a noble father lost, a sister driven into desperate terms. But my revenge will come.
Break not your sleeps for that. You must not think that we are made of stuff so flat and dull that we can let our beard be shook with danger and think it pastime. You shortly shall hear more. I loved your father, and we love ourselves. And that I... How now, what news?
Letters more from Hamlet. This to your majesty, this to the queen.
From Hamlet? Who brought?
A sailor, sir. I saw him not. They were given you by Claudio. He received them of him who brought them.
Laertes, you shall hear them. Leave us. High and mighty, you shall know I am set naked on your kingdom. Tomorrow shall I beg leave to see your kingly eyes, when I shall first, asking your pardon thereunto, recount the occasion of my sudden and more strange return. Hamlet, what should this mean? Are all the rest come back, or is it some abuse and no such thing?
Know you the hand?
Is Hamlet's character naked? And in a postscript here he says, alone. Can you advise me?
I am lost in it, my lord. But let him come. It warms the very sickness in my heart that I shall live and tell him to his teeth. Thus didst thou.
If it be so, Laertes, as how should it be so, how otherwise, will you be ruled by me?
I, my lord, so we will not allure me to a peace.
I'll work into an exploit now ripe in my device, under the which he cannot choose but fall. And for his death no wind of blame shall breathe, but even his mother shall uncharge the practice and call it accident.
My lord, I will be ruled. The rather that you could devise it so that I might be the order.
All's right. You have been talked of since your travel much, of a quality wherein they say you shine, and that in Hamlet's hearing.
A Norman was it?
A Norman?
Upon my life, Lamont.
The very same?
I know him well. He is the brooch indeed and gem of all the nation.
He gave you such a masterly report, and made confession of you for art and exercise in your defense. And for your rapier most especially, that he cried out 'twould be a sight indeed if one could match you. Now this report did Hamlet so envenom with his envy that he could nothing do but cry, wish, and beg your sudden coming over to play with you. Now out of this...
What out of this, my lord?
Laertes, did you love your father? Was he dear to you, or are you like the painting of a sorrow, a face without a heart?
Why ask you this?
Oh, not that I think you did not love your father, but to the quick of the ulcer, Hamlet comes back. What would you undertake to show yourself your father's son in deed more than in words?
To cut his throat in the church!
Indeed, murder should no place sanctuarize. Revenge should have no bounds. Good Laertes will put on those shall praise your excellence and set a double varnish on the fame the Frenchman gave you and wager on your heads. He, being remiss, most generous, and free from all contriving, will not peruse the foils, so that with ease, or with a little shuffling, you may choose a sword unbaited, and in a pass of practice requite him for your father.
I'll do it. And for that purpose I'll anoint my sword. I bought an unction of a mouthbait so mortal that but dip a knife in it, no cataplasm so rare can save the thing from death.
Let's further think of this. If this should fail and that our drift look through our bad performance, 'twere better not essayed. Therefore this project should have a back or second that might hold if it should blast in truth. Soft, let me see. We'll make a solemn wager on your cunning. I have it. When in your motions you are hot and dry, as make your bouts more violent to that end, and that he calls for drink. I'll have prepared for him a chalice for the nonce, whereon but sipping, if he by chance escape your venom stuck, our purpose may hold there. How now, sweet queen?
One woe doth tread upon another's heel, so fast they follow. The sisters drowned, Laertes.
Drowned! Oh, where?
There is a willow, grows aslant a brook that shows its hoar leaves in a glassy stream. There with fantastic garlands did she come, of crowflowers, nettles, daisies, and long purples. That liberal shepherds give a grosser name, but our cold maids do dead men's fingers call them. There are the pendant boughs, her coronet weeds, clambering to hang. An envious sliver broke, when down her weedy trophies and herself fell in the weeping brook. Her clothes spread wide, and mermaid-like a while they bore her up, which time she chanted snatches of old tunes, as one incapable of her own distress, or like a creature mated and endued unto that element. But long it could not be, so that her garments, heavy with their drink, pulled the poor wretch from her melodious lay to muddy death.
The last and she is drowned.
Drowned. Drowned.
Too much of water hast thou, poor Ophelia. Therefore I forbid my tears. But yet it is our trick. Nature her custom holds. Let shame say what it will. When these are gone, the woman will be out. Adieu, my lord. I have a speech of fire that fain would blaze, but that this folly doused it.
Let's follow, Gertrude. How much I had to do to calm his rage, now fear I this will give it start again. Therefore, let's follow.
Is she to be buried in Christian burial that seeks her own salvation?
I tell thee she is, and therefore make her grave straight. The crowner has sat on her and finds it Christian burial.
How can that be unless she drowned herself in her own defense?
Why, 'tis found so.
It must be Zaoff and Dindo. It cannot be else. For here lies the point. If I drown myself wittingly, it argues an act, and an act hath three branches. It is to act, to do, to perform. Argal, she drowned herself wittingly.
Nay, but hear you, good man,
Don't give me. Here lies the water. Good. Here stands the man. Good. If the man go to the water and drown himself, it is willy-nilly he goes. Mark you that? But if the water come to the man and drown him, he drowns not himself. Argal, he that is not guilty of his own death shortens not his own life.
Aye, but is this law?
Aye, Mary, is Crowner's quest law.
Well, if
You have the truth on it. You have the truth on it. Had she not been a gentlewoman, she should have been buried out a Christian burial.
Right there thou sayest, and the more pity great folk have countenance to drown or hang themselves, more than they're even Christian. Come, my spade. There is no ancient gentleman but gardeners, ditchers, and grave makers. They hold up Adam's profession.
But was he a gentleman?
He was the first that ever bore arms.
Why, he had none.
Oh, what art thou, heathen? How dost thou understand the Scripture? The Scripture says, Adam digged. Could he dig without arms?
Now put another question to thee, if thou answerest me not. To the point. Confess thyself. Go to. What is he that builds stronger than either the mason, the shipwright, or the carpenter?
The gallows maker. That frame outlives 1,000 cannons.
I like thy wit well. In good faith, the gallows does well. But how does it well? It does well to those that do in. Now thou dost ill to say the gallows is built stronger than the church. All the gallows may do well to thee. Do it again, John.
Who built stronger than the mason, the shipwright, or the carpenter?
Aye, tell me that, and unyoke.
Well, marry, I can tell.
To it.
Mass, I cannot tell.
Oh, cudgel thy brains no more about it, for thy dull ass will not mend its pace with beating. And when asked this question next, say, a grave maker. The houses he builds last till doomsday. Go get thee to Johann. Fetch me a stoup of liquor. In my youth, when I did love it love, methought I was very sweet to contract all the time for a my behoved. Oh, methought there was nothing meet.
Has this fellow no feeling of his business that he sings at grave making?
Custom hath made it in him a property of easiness.
But age with his stealing skips hath clawed me in his clutch, and have shipped me until the land, as if I had never been such.
That skull had a tongue in it, and could sing once. How the knave jowls it to the ground, as if it were Cain's jawbone that had done the first murder. That might be the pate of a politician, which now this ass o'erreaches. One that would circumvent God, might it not?
It might, my lord.
A pickaxe and a spade, or and a shrouding sheet. Oh, a pit of clay to be made. For such a guest is made.
There's another. Why may that not be the skull of a lawyer? Where be his quiddities now? His quilities, his tenures, his cases, and his tricks? Why does he suffer this mad knave now to knock him about the sconce with a dirty shovel, and will not tell him of his action of battery? I will speak to this fellow. Whose grave is this, sirrah?
Mine, sir. Oh, a pit of clay for to be made, for such a guest is meet.
Oh, I think it be thine indeed, for thou liest in't.
Well, you lie out on't, sir, and therefore it is not yours. For my part, I do not lie it.
and yet it is mine.
Thou dost lie in't. To be in't and to say it is thine, it is for the dead, not for the quick. Therefore thou liest.
'Tis a quick lie, sir. 'Twill away gain from me to you.
What man dost thou dig it for?
Oh, for no man, sir.
What woman, then?
Oh, for none either.
Who is to be buried in't?
One that was a woman, sir, but rest her soul, she's dead.
How absolute the knave is. We must speak by the card, or equivocation will undo us. How long hast thou been a grave maker?
Of all the days of the year, I came to it that day that our last King Hamlet overcame Fortinbras.
How long is that since?
Don't you tell that? Every fool knows that. It was the very day young Hamlet was born. He was mad and sent into England.
Aye, marry. Why was he sent into England?
Because he was mad. Oh, he shall recover his wits there. If he do not, it's no great matter there.
Why?
'Twill not be seen in him there. There, the men are mad as he.
How came he mad?
Oh, very strangely, they say.
How strangely?
Faith, deal with losing his wits.
Upon what ground?
Well, here in Denmark, sir. I've been sexton here, man and boy, 30 years.
How long will a man lie in the earth ere he rot?
If he be not rotten before he die, as we have many pocky corpses nowadays that will scarce hold the laid head, he will last some 8 year or 9 year. The tanner will last you 9 year.
Why he more than another?
Why, sir, his hide is so tanned with his trade, he will keep out water a great while. Your water is a sore decayer of your whoreson dead body. Here's a skull now. This skull was laid in the earth 23 years.
Whose was it?
A whoreson mad fellow's it was. Whose do you think it was?
Nay, I know not.
Pestilence on it for a mad rogue. It poured a flagon of Rhenish on me head once. This same skull, sir, is Yorick's skull, the king's jester.
This?
In that.
Let me see. Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him, Horatio. A fellow of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy. He has borne me on his back 1,000 times. And now how abhorred in my imagination it is. My gorge rises at it. Here hung those lips that I have kissed, I know not how often. Where be your jibes now? Your gambols, your songs, your flashes of merriment that were wont to set a table on a roar. Not one now to mock your own grinning. Quite chapfallen. Now, get you to my lady's chamber and tell her, let her paint an inch thick. To this favor she must come. Make her laugh at that. Pray thee, Horatio, tell me one thing.
What's that, my lord?
Dost thou think Alexander looked of this fashion in the earth?
Even so.
And smelled so?
Even so.
To what base uses we may return, Horatio? Why may not imagination trace the noble dust of Alexander till he find it stopping a bunghole?
Or to consider too curiously to consider so.
No, not a jot. As thus. Alexander died. Alexander was buried. Alexander returneth into dust. The dust is of the earth. And of earth we make all loam. And why? Of that loam, whereto he was converted, may we not find him stopping a beer barrel? Imperious Caesar, dead and turned to clay, might stop a hole to keep the wind away. But soft, the king, the queen, and the courtiers. Who is this that they follow, and with such maimed rites? This doth betoken the course that they follow did with desperate hand fordo its own life. 'Twas of some estate. Couch we a while, and mark.
What ceremony else?
This is Laertes, a very noble youth. Mark.
What ceremony else?
Her obsequies have been enlarged as far as we have warrantized. Her death was doubtful, and but that great command all sways the order. She should in ground unsanctified have lodged till the last trumpet. For charitable prayers, shards, flints, pebbles be thrown on her. Yet here she is allowed her virgin krantz, her maiden struments, and the bringing home of bell and burial.
Must there no more be done?
No more be done. We should profane the service of the dead to sing a requiem and such rest to her as to peace-hearted souls.
Lay her in the earth, and from her fair and unpolluted flesh may violets spring. I tell thee, tearless priest, a ministering angel shall my sister be when thou liest howling.
What? The fair Ophelia?
Sweets to the sweet, farewell. I hope thou shouldst have been my Hamlet's wife. I thought thy bride bed to have decked, sweet maid, not have strewed thy grave.
Oh, treble woe! Fall 10 times treble on that cursed head whose wicked deed thy most ingenious sins deprived thee of. Hold off the earth awhile, till I have caught her once more in my arms. Now, fire your dust upon the quick and dead, till of this flat a mountain you have made, to our toppled pilling, on the sky's head of blue Olympus.
What is he whose grief bears such an emphasis? Whose phrase of sorrow conjures the wandering stars and makes them stand like wonder-wounded heroes? This is I, Hamlet, the Dane.
The devil take thy soul!
Oh, thou prayest not well. I pray thee take thy fingers from my throat, for though I am not splenitive and rash, yet I have within me which let thy wiseness fear. Hold off thy hand!
Lock them asunder!
Hamlet! Hamlet!
I will fight with him upon this theme till my eyelids will no longer wag.
Oh, my son, what theme?
I love Ophelia! 40,000 brothers could not, with all their quantity of love, make up my sum. What wilt thou do for her?
Oh, he is mad, Laertes.
For love of God, forbear him.
Zounds! Show me what thou do. Would weep, would fight, would fast, would tear thyself, drink up Isle, eat a crocodile? I'll do it. Comest thou to why? To outface me with leaping into her grave? And be very quick with her. So will I. Nay, if thou mouth, I'll rant as well as thou.
This is mere madness, and thus a while the fit will work on him. Anon, as patient as the female dove, when that her golden couplets are disclosed, his silence will sit drooping.
Hear you, sir. Why do you use me thus? I loved you ever. But 'tis no matter. Let Hercules himself do what he may. The cat will mew, and dog will have his day.
Pray you, Horatio, go with him. Strengthened your patience in our last night's speech. We'll put the matter to the present push. Good Gertrude, set some watch over your son. This grave shall have a living monument. An hour of quiet shortly shall we see. Till then, in patience, our proceeding be.
So much for this, sir. Now do you hear the other? You do remember all the circumstances?
Remember it, my lord.
Sir, in my heart there was a kind of fighting that would not let me sleep. Methought I lay worse than the mutants and the bilboes, rashly. Praise be rashness, for it let us know our indiscretion sometimes serves us well, and our deep plots do pall. And that to teach us there's a divinity that shapes our ends, rough hew them how we will.
That's most certain.
Up from my cabin, my sea-gown scarfed about me in the dark, groped I to find out them. Had my desire, fingered their packets, and then fine withdrew to mine own room again, making so bold my fears, forgetting manners to unseal their grand commission. Where I found Horatio, royal matron, an exact commandment, lauded with many several sorts, importing Denmark's health and England's too. With how such bugs and goblins in my life that on the supervised, no leisure vacant, not to stay the grinding of the axe, my head should be struck off.
Is it possible?
Here's the commission. Read it at more leisure. But wilt thou hear me how I did proceed?
I beseech you.
Being thus benetted round with villainies, ere I could run a prologue to my brain, they had begun the play. I sat me down, devised a new commission, wrote it fair. Wilt thou hear the effect of what I wrote?
Aye, my lord.
In earnest conjuration of the king, as England was his faithful tributary, as love between them might like the palms flourish, and many such like ases of great charge that, on the view and knowing of its contents, he should the bearers put to sudden death, no striving time allowed. How was this sealed? Why, even in that was heaven ordinance. I had my father's signet in my purse, which was the model of that Danish shield. Folded up the writ in form of the other, subscribed it, gave it the impression, placed it safely, the changeling never knowed. Now the next day was our sea fight, and what was sequent to that thou knowest already.
So, Guildenstern and Rosencrantz go to it.
Why, man, they did make love to this employment. They are not near my conscience. Their defeat does by their own insinuation grow. 'Tis dangerous when the baser nature comes between the pass and fail incessant points of mighty opposites.
Why, what a king is this?
Does it not, thinkest thee? Stand me now upon. He that hath killed my king, whored my mother, popped in between the election and my hopes, thrown out his angle for my proper life, and with such cozenage. Is it not proper conscience to quit him with this hand? Or is it to be damned to let this canker of our nature come to further evil?
It must be shortly known to him from England what was the issue of the business there.
It will be short. The answer is mine. For the man's life's no more than to say just one. But I'm sorry, good Horatio, that hilarities I forgot myself. For in the image of my cause I see the portraiture of his. I'll court his favors. To show the bravery of his grief, it set me into a towering passion.
Peace, who comes here?
Your lordship is right welcome back to Denmark. I humbly thank you, sir. Dost thou know this one?
No, my good lord.
Thy state is more gracious, for 'tis a vice to know him.
A sweet lord,
If your lordship were at leisure, I should impart a thing to you from his majesty.
I shall receive it, sir, with all diligence of spirit. Put your bonnet to its right usage for the head.
I thank your lordship. It is very hot.
No, believe me, it is very cold. The wind is northerly.
It is an indifferent cold, my lord, indeed.
But yet, methinks it is very sultry and hot for my complexion.
Exceedingly, my lord, as for I cannot tell how. But, sir, the king of Brittany signifies to me that he played a great wager on your head. This is the matter.
I beseech you, remember.
Good, my lord. To my knees, in good faith. Sir, there is newly come to court, Laertes. Believe me, an absolute gentleman, full of most excellent differences, of very soft society, and of great show. Indeed, to speak feelingly of him, he is the card or calendar of gentry, for you shall find in him the continent of what part of gentlemen will see.
Sir, his defilement suffers no perdition in you. Though I know to divide him inventorily would dizzy the arithmetic of memory, and yet would yawn neither in respect for his quick sail. But in the verity of extolment, I take him to be a soul of great article, as to give true diction to him, his semiable is his mirror. And who else would taste him? His umbrage. Nothing more.
My lordship speaks most infallibly of him.
The concernancy, sir. Why do we wrap this gentleman in our more raw breath?
Sir, is it not possible to understand in another tongue? You will do it, sir, really.
What imports the nomination of this gentleman?
Of Laertes.
His purse is empty already. All his golden words are spent.
Of him, sir.
Why, I know my lord is not ignorant.
I would you did, sir. Yet in faith, if you did, it would not much approve me. Well, sir?
I know my lordship is not ignorant what excellence Laertes is.
I dare not confess that, lest I should compare with him in excellence. But to know a man well were to know himself.
I mean, sir, for his weapon. But in the imputation laid on him by them, in his need, he's unfellowed.
What's his weapon?
Rapier and dagger.
That's two of his weapons. But well,
the king, sir, hath wagered 6 Barbary horses with him, against the which he has imposed, as I take it, 6 French rapiers and pointers, with all other signs, girdles, hangers, and so. 3 of the carriages in faith are very dear fancy, and responsive to the hills. Those delicate carriages with very liberal conceit.
What call you the carriages?
I knew you must be edified by the margin ere you had done.
The carriages, sir, are the hangers.
The phrase would be more germane to the matter could we carry cannon by our sides. I would it might be hangers till then. But on, 6 Barbary horses against 6 French swords, their signs, and 3 liberal conceited carriages. That's a French bet against the Danish. Why is this so imponed, as you call it?
The king, sir, hath wagered that in a dozen passes between yourself and him, he shall not exceed you 3 hits. He hath laid on 12 for 9. And it will come to immediate trial if your lordship would vouchsafe the answer.
How if I answer no?
I mean, sir, for the opposition of your person in trial.
Sir, I will walk in the hall. To please your grace, it is the breathing time of day for me. Let the foils be brought, the gentleman willing. I will win for him, and I can. If not, I shall gain nothing but my shame in the odd hits.
Shall I be delivered even so?
Oh, to this offense, sir! To what flourish that your nature will?
My duty to your lordship.
Oh, yours.
The lapwing runs away with a shell on his head. You will lose this wager, my lord.
I do not think so. Since he went into France, I have been in continual practice. I shall win at the odds. But one would not think how ill all's within my heart. But let it be.
Good, my lord.
Ah, just but foolery. But it is such a kind of gain-giving as would perhaps trouble a woman.
If your mind is like anything, obey it. I'll forestall their repair hither and say you are not fit.
No, not a whit. We defy augury. There's a certain providence in the fall of a sparrow. If it be now, 'tis not to come. If 'tis not to come, it will be now. If it be not now yet, it will come. The readiness is all. Since no man knows aught of what he leaves, what is it to leave but time?
Come, Hamlet, come and take this hand from me.
Give me your pardon, sir. I have done you wrong. But pardon it as you are a gentleman. This presence knows, and you must needs have heard how I am punished with sore distraction. What I have done that might your nature, honor, and exception roughly awake, I here proclaim was madness. Was Hamlet wrong, Laertes? Never, Hamlet. If Hamlet from himself be taken away, and when he is not himself, does wrong Laertes? Hamlet does it not. Hamlet denies it. Who does it then? Is madness. If it be so, Hamlet is of the faction that is wrong, and his madness is poor Hamlet's enemy. Sir, in this audience, let my disclaiming from a purpose evil bring me so far in your most gracious thoughts that I have shot mine arrow o'er the house and hurt my brother.
I am satisfied in nature, whose motive in this case should serve me most my revenge. But in my terms of honor I stand aloof, and will no reconcilement till by some elder masters of known honor. I have a voice, and precedent of peace to keep my name ungored. Until that time I do receive your offered love like love, and will not wrong it.
I embrace it freely, and will this brother's wager frankly play. Give us the foil. Come.
Come, one for me.
I'll be your foil, Laertes. In mine ignorance, your skill shall like a star in the darkest night stick fiery off indeed.
You mock me, sir.
No, by this hand.
Give them the foils, young Osric. Cousin Hamlet, you know the wager.
Very well, my lord. Your grace hath laid the odds on the weakest side.
I do not fear it. I have seen you both. But since he is bettered, we have therefore odds.
This is too heavy. Let me see another.
This likes me well. These foils have all laid.
Aye, my good lord. Set me the stoup of wine upon that table. If Hamlet make the first or second hit or quit in answer to the third exchange, the king shall drink to Hamlet's better breath, and all the battlements their ordnance shall fire. And in the cup and union shall he throw, richer than that which 4 successive kings in Denmark's crown hath worn. Come, give me the cup. Now the king drinks to Hamlet. Come, begin. You, the judge, bear a wary eye.
Come on, sir.
Come on, my lord.
Run! No! Judgment!
My hits are very palpable hits.
Not again!
Stay. Give me drink. Hamlet, this pearl is thine. Here's to thy health.
Oh, set it by a while. I'll play this down first. Oh, another hit! What say you?
Touch it, touch it.
Our son shall live. Oh, he's fat and scant of bread. Here, Hamlet, take my napkin, rub thy brow.
Good madam.
The queen carouses to thy fortune, Hamlet.
Gertrude! Do not drink.
I will, my lord. I pray you pardon me.
It's the poisoned cup. It's too late.
Oh, I shall not drink yet, madam, by and by.
Let me wipe thy...
My lord, I'll take him now.
Do not think it.
It is almost against my conscience.
Come, Laertes, for the third. You do but dally. I pray you pass with your best bonnets. I am afeard that you make a wanton of me.
Say you so. Come on.
Nothing. Neither way.
Have at you now.
Hark them, they are incensed.
Nay, come again. How does the queen?
She swoons to see the bleed.
No, no, no. The drink. The drink! Oh, my dear Hamlet. The drink. The drink. I am poisoned. Oh. Oh.
Oh, villainy! Let the doors be locked! Treachery, seek it out!
It is here, Hamlet. Hamlet, thou art slain. No medicine in the world can do thee good. Indeed, there is not half an hour of life. The treacherous instrument is in thy hand. Unbaited and venom. The foul play hath turned itself on me, low where I lie, never to rise again. Thy mother's poison. I can no more. The king! The king is to blame!
In venom's point, in venom to thy work! Ah! Ah!
Yet defend me, friends! I'm but hurt!
Here, thou incestuous, damned Dane! Drink of this potion! Is your union here? Ah! Follow my mother!
He is justly served! Will the poison tempered by himself? Exchange forgiveness would be noble, Hamlet. Mine, and my father's death come not upon thee, nor thine on thee.
Heaven make thee free of it! Oh. I follow thee! I'm dead, Horatio. Wretched queen of doom! You, that look pale, or tremble at this chance, that are but mutes or audience to this act, had I but time. As this fell sergeant death is strict in his arrest, I could tell you. But let it be. I am dead, Horatio. But thou livest. Report me in my cause aright to the unsatisfied.
I never believe it. I am more antique Roman than Dane. There's yet some liquor left.
As thou art the man, give me the cup. And go! By heaven, I'll have it! Oh! Oh! Oh, good Horatio. What a wounded name! Things standing thus shall live behind me. I pray thee, if thou didst ever hold me in thy heart, absent thee from felicity a while, and in this harsh world draw thy breath in pain to tell my story. What warlike noise is this?
The young Fortinbras with conquest comes from Poland. The ambassadors of England gives us warlike volley.
I die, Horatio. This potent poison quite overthrows my spirit. I cannot hear the news from England, but I do prophesy the election lights on Fortinbras. He has my time for it. So tell him, with the occurrence, more and less, which I have solicited, the rest is silence.
Now cracks a noble heart. Good night, sweet prince. And let flights of angels sing thee to thy rest. Why does the drum come hither?
Where is this sight?
What is it ye would see? If odds of woe or wonder, cease your search.
This quarry cries on havoc. O proud death, what feast is toward in thy eternal cell, that thou so many princes at a shop, so bloodily hast struck?
The sun is dismal, and our fares from England comes late. To tell him his command is fulfilled, that Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. But I swear my face.
Not from his mouth had it the ability of life to thank you. He never gave commandment for their death. But since so jump upon this bloody question, you from the Polack Wars and you from England are here arrived, give orders that these bodies be placed high on the stage to the view, and let me speak to the yet unknowing world of how all this came about. Then shall you hear of carnal, bloody, and unnatural acts, of accidental judgments, casual slaughters, of deaths put on by cunning and forced cause, and in this upshot purposes mistook, fallen on their inventors' heads. All this I can truly deliver.
Let us haste to hear it, and call the noblest to the audience. For myself, with sorrow, I embrace my fortune. I have some rights of memory in this kingdom, which now, to claim my vantage, doth invite me.
Of that I shall also have cause to speak, and from his mouth whose voice shall draw on more. But let the same be presently performed, whilst men's minds are wild, lest more mischance on plots and errors happen.
Let 4 captains bear Hamlet like a soldier to the stage, for he was likely, had he been put on, to have proved most royally. And for his passage, the soldiers' music and rites of war speak loudly for him. Take up the bodies. Such a sight as this becomes the field, but here shows much amiss. Go, bid the soldiers shoot.
They gave me this pen.
All right.
How's it going?
Good.
You guys enjoy the show?
Absolutely. Delightful.
Awesome. Thanks for being a great audience.
Oh, this was marvelous. Thank you so much.
Thank
We
you.
really enjoyed
Thank
it.
you
You were
for
great.
coming.
You were great.
Awesome. How'd you end up?
Oh, I historical fight.
Yes.
Bye.
I ran into